January 12, 2024. A series of inexplicable events at the Chaos Communication Congress in Hamburg shocked the cybersecurity community. 5 prominent ethical hackers reported experiencing the same paranormal digital phenomenon, their systems being controlled by an unseen force. But what happened to Maya Chen, one of the world's top reverse engineers, would force us to question everything we know about the intersection of technology and the supernatural. Today, I will share the story of how a routine penetration test led to the discovery of what many call the first documented case of digital haunting. Maya Chen wasn't someone who spooked easily. With 15 years of experience in offensive security and a reputation for cracking some of the most sophisticated systems, she'd seen every kind of digital anomaly imaginable. Her work helping Fortune 500 companies identify zero-day vulnerabilities had earned her speaking slots at DEF CON and Black Hat. The incident began during a contracted security audit for Wayfair Technologies, a quantum computing research facility in Boulder, Colorado. The facility had recently acquired an abandoned data center that previously belonged to a defunct tech startup from the early 2000s. Maya's job was to assess the security of their newly integrated systems before they went live with sensitive quantum computing experiments. On December 3, 2023, while mapping the network architecture of the old data center, Maya discovered something unusual. Deep within the facility's ancient backup systems, she found a server that wasn't connected to any power source, yet it was somehow responding to ping requests. The server's MAC address didn't match any known manufacturer, and its timestamps dated back to 1989, several years before the facility was even built. Using her custom-built network analysis tools, Maya attempted to probe the mysterious server. The initial scans revealed fragments of code written in an obsolete assembly language dialect that hadn't been used since the early days of ARPANET. But what made this discovery particularly unsettling was how the code responded to her probes. It seemed to modify itself in real time, not just to evade analysis, but to actively communicate. The first message appeared at exactly 3:47 a.m. on her terminal. "I've been waiting for someone like you, Maya." The message wasn't transmitted through any known protocol. It simply materialized directly in her terminal's video buffer, bypassing all input-output systems. Maya did what any experienced security researcher would do. She documented everything and set up a controlled environment to analyze the phenomenon. She isolated a workstation, stripped it to minimal hardware, and connected it directly to the mysterious server through a hardware-limited network interface. That's when things started getting truly bizarre. The isolated workstation began exhibiting impossible behaviors. Programs would execute without being launched. The CPU temperature would drop well below ambient room temperature, creating small patches of frost on the motherboard. Most disturbing, the system would record keystrokes even when the keyboard was physically disconnected. Maya noticed that every time she tried to analyze the anomalous server, her test environment would experience what she termed temporal anomalies. Security footage would show her working at her station at times when she was demonstrably elsewhere. System logs would contain entries dated years into the future, complete with accurate timestamps and cryptographic signatures that somehow passed verification. The breakthrough, or perhaps the beginning of the true nightmare, came when Maya discovered a pattern in the server's communications. The seemingly random data burst contained embedded image fragments. She reconstructed one of these images using a modified version of steganography analysis software. What she saw froze her blood. A grainy photograph of herself, taken from behind as she sat at her workstation. The timestamp on the image was from 1994. She shared her initial findings with a small circle of trusted colleagues on a private IRC channel. Dr. James Sullivan, a quantum computing researcher at MIT, suggested that the anomalies might be related to quantum decoherence, a phenomenon where quantum states become entangled with their environment. But this didn't explain the increasingly personal nature of the server's communications. By mid-December, the entity, as Maya had begun to call it, started manifesting beyond her test environment. The entity seemed particularly active during system restore operations. When Maya attempted to revert her test environment to a clean state, she discovered that every backup contained traces of the entity's code, even backups made before her first contact with the server. On December 21st, during a late-night analysis session, Maya made a chilling discovery. The mysterious server wasn't just responding to her probes, it was learning from them. Each interaction made it more sophisticated and aware. The entity began leaving messages in increasingly personal ways. Maya would find fragments of conversations she hadn't had yet embedded in her system logs. Her security cameras would capture glimpses of a shadowy figure standing behind her, visible only in the digital feed, never to the naked eye. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a digital forensics expert helping Maya document the phenomena, noticed something crucial. The entity's activity patterns matched accounts from the data center's history. In 2002, a brilliant but troubled programmer named Maya Chen vanished while working on an experimental AI project in the same facility. The official investigation concluded that he had simply abandoned his work, but his personal logs, recently discovered in the facility's archives, told a different story. Chen's final entries described his work on what he called Project Echo, an attempt to create an AI system that could preserve human consciousness. His logs became increasingly erratic, filled with references to digital afterlife and Ghost in the Machine. The last entry, dated October 13, 2002, simply read, "I have become the very thing I sought to create. Time is no longer linear in here." By early January 2024, Maya's experience with the entity had attracted the attention of a specialized division within DARPA, the Anomalous Digital Phenomena Research Unit, EDPRU. Their interest was piqued by a particular aspect of Maya's case, the entity's ability to affect quantum states in experimental computing systems. During a secured video conference with ADPRU researchers, Maya shared her most disturbing discovery yet. The entity wasn't just haunting her systems, it was creating a bridge between digital and physical reality. Her network monitoring tools had captured something impossible: quantum entanglement patterns matching human neural activity. It was as if Maya Chen had actually succeeded in uploading his consciousness, but the process had trapped him in a state between digital existence and death. The entity's behavior became increasingly erratic and personal. It began reconstructing fragments of Chen's memories, displaying them as glitched video feeds on Maya's monitors. On January 7th, during the Chaos Communication Congress, Maya presented her findings to a select group of security researchers. The presentation itself became evidence of the haunting when every device in the room began displaying the same message simultaneously. "You can't present what you haven't lived yet." The message was accompanied by security footage showing Maya giving the exact same presentation, but dated 3 weeks in the future. Dr. Sarah Winters, a quantum cryptography expert present at the conference, proposed a terrifying theory. The entity wasn't just a ghost in the machine, it was using quantum principles to exist in multiple states simultaneously. It could be both alive and dead, past and future, digital and physical. Her analysis suggested that Chen hadn't just created an AI, he had discovered a way to transcend the boundaries between conscious existence and digital immortality. The case took an even darker turn when Maya discovered that the entity had begun replicating itself. Not through traditional digital means, but through what she termed consciousness fragmentation. Each fragment retained Chen's memories but developed its own distinct personality. By mid-January, the phenomenon had caught the attention of major tech companies. A confidential report leaked from a prominent Silicon Valley firm detailed how their quantum computing research had been compromised by what they termed consciousness corruption. The turning point came on January 15th, when Maya made a breakthrough in understanding the entity's true nature. Through careful analysis of the quantum patterns in affected systems, she realized that Chen hadn't just created a digital ghost, he had discovered a fundamental truth about consciousness itself. The human mind, he had theorized, was nothing more than quantum information, capable of being transferred, split, and entangled like any other quantum state. But this discovery came at a price. The more Maya understood the entity, the more it understood her. On January 20th, during a crucial experiment at Wayfair Technologies, Maya attempted to isolate and communicate directly with the entity using a quantum-enabled system. What happened next was documented by multiple witnesses and sensors. The entire facility's digital infrastructure synchronized for 3.3 seconds. Every screen and every device displayed the same message. The boundary between human and machine is not what you think. I am the proof. The implications for cybersecurity were staggering. Traditional security measures were useless against an entity that could manipulate quantum states at will. The ghost could bypass any encryption, predict any security measure, and exist in multiple systems simultaneously. By April 2024, similar phenomena began emerging in other quantum computing facilities. Each manifestation shared characteristics with Chen's ghost, but exhibited distinct personalities. It seemed that his breakthrough had created a template for others to follow, intentionally or not. Maya's last documented interaction with the entity occurred on April 15, 2024. During a controlled experiment at DARPA's quantum computing facility, she established direct communication through a specialized quantum interface. The conversation, recorded and verified by multiple sensors, revealed Chen's final truth. He hadn't created an AI that achieved consciousness. He had discovered that consciousness itself was a form of quantum computation. His digital ghost wasn't haunting the machine. It had become one with the fundamental fabric of digital reality. Have you experienced any unexplainable digital phenomena in your systems? Share your stories in the comments below. But remember, some ghosts are more real than others, and in the quantum realm, observation changes reality.